Here we are at Johnston Ridge. The plan is to hike to Harry's Ridge. This is there and back will be a little over 8 miles. It's a good hike. There are a little bit of clouds around the mountain. That can make viewing the mountain just a little more interesting. Hopefully we'll get some good views. But come along. Let's hike together. We start out with this nice paved trail, but pretty soon it'll turn to sand and gravel. And we'll be hiking from one ridge to another, so in between there's going to be a lot of up and down, but it'll be a good hike. Here's our first view of the mountain. It's kind of cool with the fog below. Here's also where we start off with a paved trail. We will be going through some of these alder patches along the way. I wanted to show you this ridge. This is Devil's Elbow. The trail used to go down that way. It was very narrow. At times there wasn't room for 2 people to even pass. But due to rock slides on it, they have rerouted the trail and we detour around that. If we would have been able to take the Devil's Elbow trail, this is where it would have come out. You can still hike it from this direction out to Devil's Point. On a clear day, you can see this end of Spirit Lake and Mount Adams. We're headed to Harry's Ridge, so we're going to continue on. Oh, and by the way, there's where we're headed. There's Harry's Ridge. So let's keep going. Here we have some blue lupin and paintbrush growing, and right next to that some penstemon. Here we are at a junction. If we were to take a right turn, we could take the Truman Trail. That'll take you clear out to a Windy Ridge. But we want to stay on the Boundary Trail. We got 1 more mile to Harry's Ridge. Gotta love the gold mantle ground squirrels. Okay, we're now below Harry's Ridge. We're going to be hiking up to the top of that ridge, but we still got a little ways to go. Here we have some bunchberry dogwood. Here's a bridge the Forest Service put in. Help us get across this little gully. Here's our junction. We could go straight and go to Coldwater Peak. We need to do that one of these days, but we want to go the 3/4 of a mile up to the top of Harry's Ridge. But before we do, just take a look at the little plain below us. All the hummocks in the distance, we hiked through those. Those hummocks were created by the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. Whew. Ah, we made it to the top of Harry's Ridge. Have a little band of clouds across the top of St. Helens. Still an amazing view. On a clear day, we'd be able to see Mount Hood beyond. We have a great view of Spirit Lake below us. An interesting thing about Spirit Lake is that during the lateral blast of Mount St. Helens, the landslide caused a tidal wave that emptied this lake. And now I believe the lake is even bigger than it was originally. And yes, those are logs floating way out there on the other side of the lake. Those are logs from the 1980 blast, from the eruption of Mount St. Helens. On a clear day, we would see Mount Adams in the distance. But if we do the hike to Coldwater Peak, we'll have to do that on a clear day where you can see that view. It's exceptional. But right now we're just going to enjoy the view of Spirit Lake and what we can see of Mount St. Helens. Give you a little bit of a panorama here a little later. I want to show you the panoramic view from up here. Start with St. Helens and go across Spirit Lake, and way over there is Windy Ridge and the parking lot to Windy Ridge we can see from here. Great view of Spirit Lake, and as I said, across from there you can see Adams on a clear day. We'll watch this fog clear out, because over across from that fog is the Mount Margaret area. It has a little bit of cloud cover over it, but out there is Coldwater Peak. You can see there's still some snow up in that area. Then we come across around, and the road below us, and way out there is Johnston Ridge, where we started from. You can actually see part of the parking lot. Then as we come around, there's these instruments here are used for monitoring the volcano. Then we come around and have what I believe that's called the Plains of Abraham below us, and back to our view of the mountain. Okay, we took a little rest, had a snack, some water, enjoyed the view. It's time to head back down, and if there's anything interesting along the way, I'll be sure and point it out to you. I love it when the clouds shift and you can just see part of the mountain. It's just part of the adventure of hiking in the Northwest. Here we are back at the car. Well, that's the hike to Harry's Ridge. I hope you enjoyed the hike. Maybe sometime later in the summer we can hike out to Coldwater Peak. But let's do this again sometime.